Let's get into that now with Paul Su. He is the founder and CEO of Decasonic. It's a nearly $50 million seed stage Web3 venture fund with about 15 investments. Paul, it's great to have you. And let's start right there. You have a very lackluster, range-bound market. What has that meant for your space, for the venture fund space?
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here. In blockchain VC, it's a bull market for builders. A lot of institutional asset allocators are allocating funds to our early stage blockchain VC space. Talent is still raising capital. There's a flight to quality of entrepreneurs who are building this innovation for crypto.
And I mean, I hear that all the time, in these, I don't know if you want to call it a bear market, a crypto winter, whatever you want to call it. I mean, the sideways trading that it's often referred to as, this is a time to build, just like you're saying, like this is the time to really engineer and build up your different products. But I mean, why do you think that you still have that institutional interest? And how does that compare to individual traders, that retail interest? Is that still there?
Traders are different than long-term investors. A lot of institutional investors who are in the crypto VC space play the long game. They're thinking about this from a 3 to 5 year time frame. Talent is coming into our space, given the dislocation in high growth tech equities.
And so when you look across the landscape right now, I'd love to hear from your perspective, where do you see the most opportunity right now?
The most opportunity is generally the mainstream. There are still a lot of underpenetrated demographics, women in crypto, Africa, Latin America. The use cases for the mainstream is what's driving trillion-dollar opportunities that VCs are interested in today.
And how do you reach those demographics or those underserved, untapped demographics that you walked through?
We think about domain experts in their particular demographics. There's a prevailing thought that only engineers can enter Web3. That is a misdirection. Just like Web1, a lot of non-technical people who know their demographic, know their use cases, will generally build the best applications in Web3 as well. So I firmly encourage everyone with a particular passion and energy to enter Web3.
And Paul, obviously last week, there was a big crypto get-together in the Bahamas put on by FTX and Salt. Sadly, I was not there, but our Quicktake team was, and they caught up with Austin Federa, the head of comms at Solana, about the blockchain's recent outages. Take a listen.
When you see mass adoption and mass scale start to come into these networks, you run into totally new sets of problems, right? So you saw this with Ethereum in the early days where something like CryptoKitties launched and the network totally fell over and was massive congestion, fees spiked across the network. And you see Solana going through similar growing pains. Since September, there's been a huge amount of focus from the core engineering team and other core engineers at Solana Labs and then other organizations that build within the space, really focused on building robust systems that are going to scale out to billions of users.
And of course, the Solana blockchain, the Solana token, it's one of the most buzziest things in crypto right now. But even just this past weekend, I mean, you saw a 7-hour outage in the Solana blockchain. And Paul, I'm just curious, when you're trying to weigh these different growing pains that Austin referenced, as you try to get up to scale, how do you factor that in when you're evaluating different projects?
Congestion is a sign of large demand that's not supported by the current infrastructure. It's both an opportunity and a risk. On the opportunity side, we really see this as a way to build a better blockchain. There are other competing blockchains that hope to solve these problems. We're big investors in Cadena. This is a very bullish sign from a VC perspective.
So that's interesting. So you're saying, these outages, perhaps in some cases, actually, this is a good sign.
Very similar to dial-up internet in the .com days, very similar to you and I trying to log on to Friendster before MySpace and Facebook came to market.
Okay, that's interesting. And I want to talk about the different blockchains. Obviously, we're spending time on Solana, but you also have Bitcoin, you have Ethereum, you have Cardano, you have a bunch of these different blockchains springing up. I mean, do you see a world where all of these chains can exist and have their own different use cases and live happily together? Or do you think that there has to be some sort of shakeout?
This is the trillion-dollar question today. There are VCs on both sides of this investment debate. In our perspective, we believe applications will drive the adoption of the underlying blockchain. So we may be heading into a 5 to 10 year timeframe of a multi-chain world.
A multi-chain world. And I mean, in that multi-chain world, do you think that, bridges have to exist? Obviously, we've seen a lot of hacks, a lot of different frauds occur with bridges. Just in the past few months, there's a lot of questions about that interoperability between these blockchains. Curious to hear your perspective.
You're pointing out the major drawback of bridges, of additional complexity of security and auditing risk. Generally, that presents tailwinds for that technology adoption. A lot of application builders like myself think through bridging multi-chain at the application layer. And again, with this emerging technology, no right answer today. We'll see how the market develops the standard going forward. And
Paul, reading through your background, it really jumped out to me, as we talk about Web 1, Web 2, the future of Web 3, you've had a long career in this space since 2000. You've been an investor and operator in the technology space. You were previously at Zynga. What led you to the crypto space originally?
A lot of gaming, virtual worlds, virtual currencies, and virtual goods translate very well to Web3. Metaverses, cryptocurrencies, and NFTs are just the next generation of what we're seeing in Web3 from gaming. I also believe it's the largest opportunity to transform an internet that is inclusive for everyone, so that there's a lot of passion around building a better internet for everyone.
And who's going to build that better internet? I mean, is it existing companies such as Facebook, now Meta, obviously making this big push into the metaverse? Or do you think it's going to be more crypto native companies that will build the future of the internet, that Web3 vision?
Winners of today might not be the winners of tomorrow. There are some who will survive from the major Web2 large caps. Venture capitalists like myself believe the startups are more nimble and execute faster, like the FTX guys, like Solana, like Ethereum, and we will see who wins, the crypto native firms or the FANG firms.
Paul, great to get some time with you. That is Decasonic CEO Paul Hsu. Thank you so much. We're going to be right back. It's been about 10 minutes. We haven't talked about Elon Musk yet. We're going to fix that. You're streaming Quicktake Stock.